What if I were to tell you that the single most powerful action you could take right now to avoid a fall isn't about purchasing the latest balance gadget, wearing non-slip grip socks, or installing a new handrail in your bathroom? It's far more fundamental than any of those things. It isn't something you order online, hire someone to mount to your wall, or even a new set of exercises to add to your routine. The solution is actually much more straightforward. It all comes down to a subtle shift in the way you walk. It's one tiny, specific tweak to a motion you've been performing for your entire existence, and it's highly likely you've been executing it incorrectly for years without ever realizing it. Over the course of 26 years dedicated to working with adults age 70 and older as a physical therapist, I have witnessed this particular issue unfold more frequently than I could possibly count. The scenario is almost always the same. An individual arrives at my clinic following a fall, feeling disoriented and often carrying a heavy sense of embarrassment. They look at me and say, "I was just walking across my kitchen. I wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary." And in truth, they are absolutely correct. They weren't doing anything unusual, and that, right there, is precisely the heart of the problem. The way they navigate their daily environment has, over time, quietly evolved into a dangerous pattern, and no one ever pointed it out to them. Today, I am here to change that for you. I am going to walk you through what is very likely occurring in your own gait at this very moment. I will explain exactly why this pattern is exposing you to significant risk, and I will reveal the single, straightforward change that can begin to safeguard you immediately, starting with the very next step you take. There's no specialized equipment required, no need for a gym membership. It's just one simple adjustment that holds the genuine potential to protect your well-being. Before we get started, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, I strongly encourage you to hit that subscribe button and activate the notification bell so you never miss out on future health tips tailored specifically for you. If you find this video valuable, please type the number 1 in the comments section below. If not, feel free to type a 0 to let me know how I can create better content for you in the future. The problem. The shuffle gait. Allow me to paint a picture for you, and I want you to consider honestly whether this scenario sounds at all familiar. Envision someone making their way down a hallway. Their strides are notably short, significantly shorter than they once were. Their feet barely manage to clear the floor with each advancing step, sliding forward in a low, shuffling manner rather than being lifted cleanly off the ground. Their torso is leaning slightly forward, their eyes are fixed downward toward the floor, and their arms hang relatively still at their sides with minimal swing. They are moving with caution and deliberation because somewhere in the back of their mind, they possess an underlying awareness that the ground beneath them doesn't feel as dependable as it used to. This is what we refer to as a shuffle gait, and it stands as one of the most prevalent walking patterns I observe in adults over 70. Its development is insidious, unfolding so gradually that the vast majority of people are completely unaware it's happening. What initially begins as a small measure of caution following a close call gradually morphs into a deeply ingrained habit. The stride length diminishes, the feet stop lifting, the posture drifts forward, and what the individual perceives as careful, safe walking is, in reality, one of the most hazardous movement patterns your body can possibly adopt. Here is the crucial explanation for why this is so dangerous. When your feet shuffle along close to the ground, any minor irregularity on that surface, the edge of a rug, a slight elevation in the flooring, a crack in the pavement outside, instantly transforms into a trip hazard. There simply isn't enough clearance between your foot and the floor to accommodate even a minor imperfection without it causing a significant problem. Furthermore, because your steps are abbreviated and your body weight is already leaning forward, the moment your toe snags on something, your body lacks the time and the spatial room to recover its balance. The fall occurs so rapidly that you may not even register that you are falling until you are already on the ground. Beyond the immediate tripping risk, a shuffle gait also points to deeper underlying issues. The muscles responsible for lifting your legs, specifically your hip flexors, glutes, and core, have weakened due to underuse over time. Concurrently, the neurological communication pathway between your brain and your legs has slowed down. The good news, however, is that both of these physical and neurological declines are reversible, and the reversal process begins with that one pivotal change. The one change, the heel strike. The single adjustment I am asking you to make is this. From this point forward, every single step you take must commence with your heel. This is known as a heel strike, and it represents the biomechanical design intended for human locomotion. When you are young and your gait is natural, unguarded, and fluid, your heel makes contact with the ground first during each step. Your body weight then smoothly rolls forward through the arch of your foot, across the ball, and finally pushes off through your toes to propel you into the next stride. It's a seamless, continuous rolling motion, and it ranks as one of the most efficient and stable movement patterns the human body is capable of producing. However, here's what happens as the years pass. As the muscles responsible for gait weaken and our confidence in our balance quietly diminishes, that crucial heel strike begins to vanish from our movement repertoire. The foot starts to land flat on the ground, or sometimes even toe first, which results in a stride that is shorter, lower to the ground, and considerably less stable. We cease to roll through our foot, we stop pushing off effectively, and we begin to shuffle. And with each passing month of shuffling, the very muscles that are needed to produce a correct heel strike grow progressively weaker because they are simply no longer being engaged or asked to perform their function. So what does correcting this pattern actually look like in practice? It's much simpler than you might imagine. With each step you take, I want you to consciously reach your heel out slightly in front of you, just a few inches further than you would normally, and ensure that it makes contact with the ground first. Feel the weight transition smoothly forward through your foot. Allow your toes to push off purposefully from behind you as you progress into the next step. And, most critically, make sure you lift your foot. Do not slide it across the floor. Pick it up, reach it forward, and land squarely on the heel. When you execute this correctly, several beneficial changes occur simultaneously. Your stride length naturally increases, which enhances your overall stability and forward momentum. Your foot achieves proper ground clearance, effectively eliminating the risk of catching on surface irregularities. Your posture automatically improves. The heel strike action pulls your body weight back and upright, lifting you out of that forward-leaning shuffle position. Furthermore, your hip flexors, glutes, and core are suddenly being activated and required to work again, which immediately starts to rebuild the very strength that serves as your primary protection against falls. It's just one change, one adjustment, but it triggers a powerful chain reaction throughout your entire body that begins working for you rather than against you with every single step you take. The 5 essential exercises. Now, let's explore 5 specific exercises that will help make this new walking pattern feel natural, automatic, and robust. Exercise 1. The conscious heel, strike walk. Why it matters. Before anything else, you need to practice the heel strike itself, slowly, deliberately, and with complete awareness. Many people who have been shuffling for months or even years have genuinely lost the motor pattern of a proper heel strike. The neural pathway in the brain that produces it has faded from disuse. This exercise serves to rebuild that pathway by asking your brain and your legs to practice the correct movement repetition by repetition until it begins to become automatic again. How to do it? Find a clear hallway or a long open space where you can walk safely, preferably near a wall. Stand at one end with one hand lightly touching the wall for balance and support if needed. Begin walking, but this time think about nothing except your heel. With every single step, consciously reach your heel slightly forward and let it land on the floor first. Feel the contact. Feel your weight roll through the foot. Feel your toes push off to initiate the next step. Take 10 steps forward in this manner. Turn around carefully using small marching-style steps and walk back 10 steps. That constitutes one set. Start walking forward at an extremely slow pace, almost as if you are moving in slow motion. With every step, deliberately place your heel first, roll through the foot, and push off through the toes. Each phase of the step should be clearly felt and slightly exaggerated. Take at least 10 very slow steps forward, then turn carefully and repeat coming back. Complete 2 full lengths of the hallway. What to focus on? The key here is control over speed. Your heel should touch the ground with intention, not simply collapse onto it. Your weight should shift gradually, not drop suddenly. Avoid the temptation to rush the transition between steps. If you feel yourself speeding up automatically, pause briefly, reset your posture, and then continue. This exercise is not about distance or fitness, it's about re-educating your nervous system so that walking becomes a controlled, deliberate sequence again, rather than an automatic shuffle. Progress tip. Once this movement feels stable and comfortable on a flat hallway, try performing the same slow-motion walk while lightly turning your head left and right as you walk. This adds an extra balance challenge and trains your body to maintain stability even when your attention is divided, which is much closer to real-life walking conditions where you are often looking around at your environment. Exercise 2. The heel-to-toe rock. Why it matters. Before you can master the rolling motion of a proper step, it's incredibly helpful to isolate and feel that rocking motion while standing still. This exercise builds awareness of how your weight should transition from heel to toe, which is the core mechanics of a safe and stable gait. How to do it. Stand near a sturdy chair or a wall for support. Place your feet hip-width apart. Slowly rock your weight back onto your heels, lifting your toes slightly off the floor. Feel the pressure in your heels. Then, slowly rock forward, shifting your weight onto the balls of your feet, lifting your heels off the floor. Continue this slow, deliberate rocking motion back and forth, from heels to toes and back again. Repeat this motion 15 to 20 times. What to focus on? The movement should be slow and controlled. Focus on feeling every part of your foot making contact with the floor as you rock. Feel the weight transfer through your arches. Maintain a tall, upright posture throughout the exercise, avoiding any tendency to lean forward or backward excessively. Progress tip. Once you feel comfortable with this standing rock, try doing it with your eyes closed for a few repetitions. This will significantly challenge your proprioception, your body's sense of its position in space, and help strengthen the balance systems you rely on when walking. Exercise 3. The seated march. Why it matters. The shuffle gait is often accompanied by weak hip flexors, the muscles at the front of your hips that are responsible for lifting your knee and foot. Strengthening these muscles in a seated position is a safe and effective way to start building the necessary strength for better foot clearance. How to do it. Sit upright in a sturdy chair with your back straight and your feet flat on the floor. Engage your core muscles. Slowly lift your right knee as high as is comfortable, bringing your foot off the floor as if you are marching in place. Lower it back down with control. Repeat this same motion with your left leg. Continue alternating legs for a total of 20 lifts per leg, or perform all reps on one leg before switching to the other. You can also do this to a slow, steady rhythm. What to focus on? Focus on using your hip muscles to lift your knee, not your back, or by leaning your torso. Keep your upper body still. The motion should be slow and controlled both on the way up and the way down. Squeeze your glutes slightly as you lower your foot back to the floor. Progress tip. To increase the difficulty as you get stronger, you can add light ankle weights. However, it's recommended to start with just your body weight to master the form first. You can also try marching while holding onto a countertop to add a standing balance component. Exercise 4. The single leg balance with heel lift. Why it matters. This exercise combines balance with the specific action of lifting your foot, a movement crucial for initiating a proper step. It challenges your stability and strengthens the muscles in your standing leg, which is essential for safe walking. How to do it? Stand behind a sturdy chair, holding the back of it with both hands for support. Shift your weight onto your right leg. Slowly lift your left foot off the floor, bringing your heel toward your buttocks, or just lifting your foot a few inches off the ground. Hold this position for 2 to 3 seconds while maintaining your balance. Lower your left foot back to the floor with control. Repeat this sequence 10 times on the left leg. Then, shift your weight onto your left leg and perform the same lift 10 times with your right foot. What to focus on? Keep your standing leg slightly bent, not locked, to avoid strain on the knee joint. Engage your core muscles to help stabilize your body. Look straight ahead at a fixed point in the room to help maintain your balance. Focus on a smooth, controlled lifting and lowering of the foot. Progress tip. As your balance improves, try performing this exercise with just one hand on the chair and eventually with only a fingertip touch for guidance. The ultimate goal is to be able to perform the heel lift without holding onto the chair at all, but only when you feel stable and confident. Exercise 5. The Obstacle Step Over Drill. Why it matters. The controlled environment of a hallway is a great starting point, but real life is full of obstacles. Rugs, door thresholds, pet toys, electrical cords, garden hoses, every single one of these is a potential trip hazard for someone with a shuffle gait and low foot clearance. This exercise directly trains your brain and your legs to detect an obstacle, lift the foot high enough to clear it, and land safely on the other side, which is the exact sequence your body needs to execute in a fraction of a second when real life presents the same challenge. How to do it. Place a pool noodle, a rolled-up towel, a small cushion, or a similarly soft, lightweight object on the floor of your hallway. It should be about 4 to 6 inches high. Stand a few feet back from the obstacle with a wall or chair within reach for support. Walk toward the obstacle at a normal, controlled pace. When you reach it, lift your right foot deliberately, high enough to clear the obstacle with room to spare, and step over it. Then lift your left foot and clear the obstacle completely. Continue walking a few steps beyond it. Turn around carefully and return, stepping over the obstacle again. Complete 5 passes in each direction for a total of 10 step-overs. What to focus on. Do not rush as you approach the obstacle. Slow down slightly as you get close. Pick your foot up early, well before you reach the object, and make a conscious, confident step over it. The goal is to train your brain to recognize an obstacle, respond in advance, and execute the clearance with control and confidence rather than panic or hesitation. Progress tip. Once this movement feels easy and comfortable, try varying the height of the obstacle. Slightly higher one week, a different texture the next. You can also practice stepping over it while carrying something light, like a coffee cup or a book, in one hand. This is a more accurate simulation of the way real-life trips tend to happen, as we are often carrying something when we walk. An important safety warning. Before you begin practicing any of these exercises, I need you to take this seriously because your safety is paramount. If you have recently had a hip or knee replacement, are currently being treated for plantar fasciitis or any other heel condition, or have been explicitly told by your doctor to avoid weight-bearing exercise, please speak with your physician or a qualified physical therapist before attempting these movements. Some exercises may need to be modified or adapted for your specific personal situation. Always practice these exercises near a wall, a countertop, or a sturdy, stable chair for support. Never rush through them. Wear non-slip footwear, such as sneakers with good grip, or go barefoot on a safe, non-slip surface like a yoga mat or carpet. And if at any point you feel sharp pain, a sudden wave of dizziness, or anything that simply doesn't feel right, stop immediately.